Good afternoon, everyone, and we hope you had a blessed Easter Sunday and spent time with family and friends. It's Monday. That means it's Bob and Phineas live right here. How are you, Phineas, today? How are you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm finally finished with that bunny business that was forced upon me last week. But things are pretty good up here. But I hope Scott had fun co-hosting the show while you did housework.
He did, and we made some progress on the house. It's an ongoing project that's been going on for some time. Older houses take a lot of attention, and sometimes you just have to, give it that TLC that it needs. And that's what we're doing right now. We're making some upgrades, doing some things to the outside of the house, getting it. It's about 1/3 of the way painted. We're still working on fixing a few places where the wood needed attention. And then we got to, of course, put the primer on it and get the paint on it. But we're getting there. We're getting there. It's just a slow process. But it's good to be back with you this week. Yes, I want to say thank you to Santa Scott Saratine for filling in for me last week, and he was willing to go again today. But we had a lot of rain the last couple of days, so it's kind of messy outside. Always sunshiny and 79 degrees. Not hardly a cloud in the sky anywhere that I can see from my window here in the TNL studio. But we're going to have to let the ground dry a little bit. Don't want to get over and make a mud hole, and so we'll just let it rest today. We'll get back on here in the next day or two.
Excellent. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Well, it was great having Scott on the show, and we definitely missed you last week, Bob. But glad to have you back, and happy to see you there. And I wish I could say it was sunny where I am. It is currently quite rainy and foggy, and we are 43 degrees, and it is not a nice day here, but it's a good day to stay inside. So, and
yes, sounds like it is. That's okay though. Every once in a while. At this time of year, when the rain comes, everything greens up, the grass greens up, the flowers all perk up, trees blossom out, and that's what we're in. We're in springtime, and I love spring. I love 4 seasons of the year, but I think springtime is so refreshing.
It definitely is. It definitely is. It's a time of renewal and refreshing, and nice to see the grass and the trees budding and everything like that all around the planet. So that's good to see. So yep.
Now we don't get a whole lot of snow down here in North Texas. It's something that happens every few years. We may get a trace to an inch or two, and ever so often we might get a decent amount. But the thing about snow is it's cleansing.
Yep.
Everything seems so quiet and peaceful and clean when it snows, and so I know that you guys have had some snow recently. Is there any still left on the ground in the shade, or is it all melted away?
It's all melted away. Thankfully, we've had a fair amount of rain, so things are definitely quite muddy here. So
wash it down, getting it muddy. I understand the mud for sure.
Definitely.
All right. You know what? We had some sad news today. Our Catholic Pope passed away.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Francis.
It amazes me how the Lord blesses. And I do truly believe it was a blessing that he was here for the last Easter of his life. And it's a sad day for all those that worship. And of course, we'll get a new pope somewhere here down the line. I know there's going to be a fill-in pope for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he was had been in the Dallas Catholic Church. I don't know anything about him that much. Our family kind of converted to baptism years ago, and so I linger more in that side of things. I know that you probably know more about it too. Have you heard who the interim?
Not a clue here. I've got a good friend who used to work with the Catholic Church, and he's just in the process of processing the passing of Francis. He actually worked with Pope Francis on a couple of projects.
Wow, that's cool.
And so I've been keeping in contact with him, and he's just processing it. He quite loved working with the Holy Father, and he's just they're just beginning to process stuff. They were just happy that he was able to celebrate one last Easter with the flock, and then
That was a true blessing for sure.
Yes.
Doug, we don't get a lot of snow down here, but that is one thing I do know. Stay away from the yellow snow. Thank you for that. And yes, sir, I certainly will if we get snow, but I don't think we'll be getting any the rest of the year. We're in that transition period here in the South where we can have days in the 90s. We can have days in the 60s and 70s, at nighttime. And so like I say, it's a refreshing time of year for us. It's just a storm before the really hot temperature sets in. And boy, that's the one thing we dread most down here in the South is the humidity and the heat. So thank you for that. Okay, you know what? Speaking of inspirations, let's go see what Santa B's inspirational message is for the day.
Ho, 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 and happy day, my friends. Santa B back with you here again today. And today, I want to encourage you to be well, to think about what your wellness means to you, and really pay attention to what you look like when you're at your best. To sit back and think about, how do I look to others when I'm at my best? Am I exciting? Am I outgoing? Am I talkative? Am I quiet? Am I introverted? Figure out what your best is, and then think about what it is to be better. And think about how much that means in our portrayal of Santa, Mrs. Claus, or an elf. Think about how much better we are as portrayal artists when we are, in fact, the best version of ourselves. So I encourage you, pay attention to who you are and where you're at, and think about where you want to be. Be blessed. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Great message. Great message. I love that.
Thank you, Santa B. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. That is a new segment that we've started last week.
Yep.
We talked about it when we was in Gatlinburg and decided that Santa B had been doing some of these on his own Facebook page, but we wanted to bring it to a bigger audience, so we wanted to bring it on. And since he is part of the TNL family, let's share that with everyone else. And I think it's great that he is able to put those together every day and once a week for us, which is different from his daily. But fantastic. Okay, so yes, Diane Bean says, rest in peace, Pope Francis. Absolutely. He had a long, very prosperous life, enriched in history, and he's going to be missed by many.
He's definitely going to be missed by many. He was a very human leader. I mean, he started out as a bouncer in a nightclub of all things. So, he's seen it all. So,
speaking of inspirational, that's inspirational to know that you can go from one aspect of your life, turn it around, and end up in such a position of power. And I would say power because being the Pope of the Catholic diocese, that's a powerful position because you have so much influence.
Yes,
and folks look up to you. So,
but he remained quite humble, and he lived in a 2-bedroom apartment and not in the big palace. So go figure. So, so he walked the walk. So,
David Melvine's got a message there for you, Phineas.
Okay, just scanning through the messages. I can't see his message to me.
It's on YouTube, and says, "Hi, Bob and Phineas. I see you've lost your ears already, Phineas. Hope those feet have shrunk. Now about the carrots outside your cabin."
Well, the reindeer were being smart Alex, and they left me all the carrots that they had left over from Christmas. So they were quite happy and sharing with me, and but I won't hold a grudge against them much.
Okay, well, speaking of carrots outside your cabin, how about the big old great big something burger? You ready to? Let's jump into that. We got a good question. Got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about, so let's get rolling with the something burger.
Okay, for this week's Something Burger, last week we were struck by a number of losses in the Christmas performance community, and there were a number of folks who are no longer with us. And it got me to thinking, have you ever been asked to appear as your Christmas character off season for an event that is outside the normal? So Santas, Mrs. Clauses, elves, mean green guys, whatever. Have you ever been invited to attend a birthday party, a wedding, a baptism, or a funeral as a guest in character? I'm not talking about as an entertainer. Have you been invited to such an event as your character to attend? Would you consider accepting such an invitation? And if so, why not or why? I will go first in that as a clown, Phineas used to work in the hospitals, working with the healthcare professionals. And I particularly worked in palliative care and also pediatric care, particularly the long-term cancer wards. And on more than one occasion, Phineas was invited to family celebrations, be it a birthday party, at the hospital, at the home. And on more than a few occasions, Phineas was invited to be a pallbearer at a funeral. And in clown, as a clown, not as Mike Hutchings, but as Phineas the Clown. And so I've learned to accept that as a huge honor to be invited as that character, as Phineas the Clown. Last year, Santa, David, and Phineas were invited to a seventh birthday party to just attend as guests, not be in character, not entertain, although we did entertain because we are Santa and Phineas, and that is what we do. But we were invited as guests just to attend the birthday party and just hang out and be with the people. And I treat that as a huge honor. So yes, I will do that if it is something I am comfortable with. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, I've got a couple of examples. One, I was in character, full Santa coat, everything. Invited as Santa for a autistic young man's birthday party, and I've shared this story before. His spectrum, he loves to clean. He vacuums, he wipes, he dusts. That's how he spends his days entertaining himself, is by cleaning. So the mother left all the presents that Santa was to bring in his bag for his birthday outside as usual. I, of course, show up and it's Swiffer mops and giant containers of Clorox wipes, sanitation wipes, and all these things that go hand in hand with that. And put them in my bag. We go in. He's really excited. He acknowledges that I'm there, and they had a bounce house. So he was more about the bounce house than anything else. And then when his mom finally got him up to come open presents and to do the birthday cake portion of it, of course, he wanted to see what Santa had first. So that ruined everything else, because once I gave him the cleaning supplies, he grabs me by the hand and says, "Come on, Santa." And we go to the bounce house and spend over an hour cleaning the outside of the bounce house with the wipes. And the wipes were gone when we were through. And I was going to stay there as long as he was willing. I wasn't about to walk away. And I wiped till my hands were raw almost that day. But it was so much fun, because to see the passion in his eyes was incredible. But he had such a good time cleaning that rented bounce house with all those wipes. Now the other example I have is we met a couple one night out when we went out to eat, and they recognized me as Santa, and we struck up a conversation. And a few years later, it turns out the gentleman is a elementary school teacher, and he turns out to be my granddaughter's fifth grade teacher. And that year, him and the young lady that he was with was getting married, and they invited us to come to their wedding. She wanted, and she specifically said, "Santa, come to our wedding." And now I dressed, nice with a dress shirt on and slacks and went. But as soon as they got through with their ceremony, the first picture she wanted was a picture of her and him with Santa. And she immediately posted it to all of her social media. and it says, "Look who came to our wedding! Ha ha ha! We win." She's a Christmas fanatic. She loves Christmas more than just about anybody I know, and so it was a lot of fun. And to this day, every time I talk to her, I'll go, "And you had Santa at your wedding," and remind her of that. It was fun. Enjoyed it.
It definitely is. I always treat such requests as sort of an honor because they want to share something innately personal with you, well, with Santa or with Phineas. So, it's definitely a deeply personal thing, and I treat it as an honor. And honestly, it is a fun test of my skills as a character performer and an improvisation to carry on, standard wedding kind of conversations or standard birthday kind of conversations with people in character. How would Phineas react to a wedding? What would Phineas bring to a wedding or to a child's birthday party or an adult's birthday party? David Milmine noted that last Christmas he was invited to visit a lady who was suffering from severe post-traumatic stress and wasn't sure if she would ever be able to get back to normal again, to smile again. And he was invited just to visit with her. And it turns out she just really needed to see Santa.
That was good.
And after the visit, she posted that, realized the power of the hug from Santa to help make her feel better for Christmas. So again, we're able, even in normal day-to-day things, just to touch people. Santa Doug has noted that he has done a lot of out-of-season events, but he has never been invited to an event as a character and not as a performer. So Doug, to follow up with that question, if Santa Doug and Jenny Kringle were invited to attend a wedding as Santa Doug and Jenny Kringle, or invited to attend a birthday party or funeral, would you and Jenny attend those? So, follow-up question. We've got Gary Lindner just commenting that he is getting a little older. Joe Steffen is recuperating after a mishap he had in shop class. He did something stupid. I hope you have all of your digits, Joe. Fingers crossed. So hoping you are okay and on the mend. So that's good to hear.
I hope he didn't cut his nose off to spite his face.
Exactly. And Santa Doug followed up with absolutely, he and Mrs. Claus definitely would show up at an event if they were invited to attend. So
yeah, it's few and far between. You're not going to get that many requests for those type of situations, but it is something to consider if if it ever comes up ever that invite. For me, I think once we had ran out of wipes with the autistic young man, and the birthday cake was passed around. His little sister was more interested in what went on at the North Pole. She probably sit with me for another hour, asking questions and me being in character, explaining elves and all the different things to her. And the young man went on about his business and went back out to Bow's house and was playing with his cousins and friends. And so I spent the rest of my time there. And they had only hired me for an hour. I ended up staying, I don't know, 3.5, 4 hours. But until they were ready for me to leave, I wasn't leaving. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Further follow-up from Santa Doug was that they would probably regret it if there was a buffet because Santa can eat a lot. So
yeah, this is true.
Yep,
very true. And I did. I wasn't going to eat birthday cake or ice cream at this party, but I did end up doing it after they just kept on and kept on and kept on. I finally gave in because I didn't want to make them feel like I was being rude or anything. And I did decline a couple of times, and the young lady kept saying, come on, Santa, have a piece of cake with us. So I did end up eating some. Sometimes you do what you have to do,
you do what you got to do.
It's hard to. They're the one that's paying the bill. So
exactly, and honestly, if you just have to be careful with the beard and the icing, I guess too. So yeah.
Absolutely.
We tried to when Santa David and Phineas went to the birthday party, we tried to just sort of say, oh no, we're watching our girlish figures. Or as I put it, my girlish figure, and just try to avoid any snacky snacks or anything like that. I'm usually pretty good at saying no, thank you. I just like savory, salty dishes and stuff like that. So.
Now, Bill Corbett's got a special one, you might say there.
Yep. Santa Bill was asked to sit with a family whose dad was passing because he loved Christmas.
Those are special.
Yep. Gary Lindner notes that he does birthday parties and summer daycares. Definitely part of the Summer Santa type situation.
Yeah. And again, it's not going to be enough income or revenue to really make a difference in your yearly seasonal income for the whole year. But it's more of a service that you give to the folks who are out there that you're serving, your community, or folks who may know you or have hired you at Christmas time to just give back to them. So.
Yeah. These are things that I don't treat as gigs. These are things that are goodwill visits, or honestly, if I was invited to someone's birthday party and I'd be happy to go anyways, if they want me to go as Phineas, I'm going to go as Phineas because, they respect the character. They like the character enough that they want him to be part of their celebrations. That's an honor. That's a true honor.
Well said.
Joe Stephan has noted that he is all good. He'll be better in a few weeks and ready for Christmas in July. So
very good. Sue Radloff has one there for you, Phineas.
Yep. If they accept an invitation, they need to make sure that another Santa and Mrs. Claus hasn't also been invited to come in character. That rarely happens. The only time I've seen multiple Santas at an event is for a funeral for a Santa. Typically, if someone is inviting you to an event because you've touched them personally and they want you to be part of the family celebration, you're likely going to be that one individual. So that's the main thing, and that will rarely ever happen. I've discovered, and if it does, that's on the family, not you. So.
Very true. Very true. Okay, I think that's all of them that have popped up so far. So great segment as always. Great question. That's a question that I don't think we've ever had on before. Sometimes we not really regurgitate or recycle questions, but we may ask them in a different way to see if we can get a different answer at times. But that's the first time for that one. That was a great question, Phineas. That, by the way, was submitted by Phineas. Phineas been doing a good job on those this year, taking some of the pressure off me. So I thank you.
Anything I can do to support you, Santa. So.
Yes, sir. All right. I guess we're ready to let's get into the santascloset.org. We've got a great question there for today too. So let's run that and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, Angela Mack here for Bob and Phineas Live, the show about nothing. Season 4 of Bob and Phineas is brought to you by santascloset.org, where you can find all your accessories for the discriminating Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the elves. Visit Santa Wade's website at santascloset.org today, where they are known for delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since opening in 2004. The goal has always been to provide both a superior customer experience at a tremendous value. Their products are fairly priced, and Santa Wade strives to bring many different products to the Claus community. Visit the website and make your next season a truly special one. This is Angela Mack reminding you all to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central, presented by TNL Network Productions. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob and Phineas in the TNL studios and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
All right, today's trivia question is one that has 4 answers. 3 of the 4 are compound answers. So this was going to be a tough one, but I know you guys out there have it in you. And it was a very interesting question that we came up for this week. We're going to let Phineas go ahead and take it from here.
Okay, so this is not Easter or Christmas. This is an April trivia question. And this one goes out to all the car fans and gearheads out there.
That's right.
Okay. What date, month, day, year did Ford Motor Products introduce the new class of hardtop and convertible versions of the blank? And what dealership got serial number 1 to sell? Their full location, and what was the month, day, and year that that dealership sold that first model?
So again, we need month, day, and year it was introduced,
The
the
car
car's
model.
model, the dealer's name and full location. When I say full location, where it is located in the country, and then the month, date, and year where that dealership sold that first number 1 serial number. You know, Phineas, a lot of dealerships, when they introduce a new model and someone happens to get lucky enough to get that number 1 serial, those are usually ones that are put in a showroom and never sold.
Yep.
So I was surprised that this one was sold. I think this is what made it so interesting for me, as you say, being a car enthusiast, to know that that number 1, the very first one that rolled off, was actually sold from the dealership. So.
And once again, it is Ford Motor Products, so that should narrow down what model it is. I will say that it's kind of sort of related to where I'm from. Mike, not Phineas. Yeah.
Yes. It is not that far. You can almost throw a stone to the east of where you are and hit it.
Yep.
Well, maybe not quite that far, but anyway, you get the gist of it.
Yep.
Okay, so your name will go on a hat also for the NPC 2026 scholarship that's given away by TNL Network Productions. So besides getting a goodie, and by the way, Wade mentioned to me this week that he has been passing out T-shirts. So again, we need T-shirt size if you are the winner. So when we get to that point, just be sure if you do win to include your T-shirt size to me in a private message. That way we get that over to Wade and get that shirt coming to you.
Excellent. Well, we've got a message from Scott Saratian. Santa Scott says, "How is everyone today?" So he is watching. Thank you, Scott. You're doing well. Thank you.
Yes, he's been busy. We've been keeping him busy with a lot of the Cornerstone stuff, but this time of year, him trying to help get us a location, get the best deal we can get, and get the ball rolling so we can roll out our location and date. Been working on it hard. We've had some long meetings between him and I and Deanna recently, and with the hotels, and looking for some really cool stuff to come up with that. We'll talk more about that later. All right, let's thank Larry Talbot for his contribution. We mentioned that we had some exciting stuff coming up here. Let's talk the Elfin Chatterbox News today. Let's start off, and I hope folks don't get tired of us talking about Cornerstones, but this is kind of something that we're kind of proud of. And this is for our alumni, and we had a great return of alumni from Class 1 to Class 2, Phineas being one, and also as a guest instructor. So what we wanted to do was to give something back to those alumni who came to our school. So the 2026 North Pole Cornerstone Referral Program has been developed. You can receive up to $75 for referring friends and colleagues to the 2026 sessions. Now, this is how it works. Thank you for being an alumni of NP Cornerstones. We want to reward you by sharing the fun and learning with your friends and colleagues. We're happy to announce the 2026 NPC Referral Program. This is how it works. You tell a friend or a colleague about NPC. That person must be a first-time attendee and has not attended NPC before. When they register, they put your name in as a referral. And if you and that person come to the 2026 class, you will get a return of $25 per referral, up to 3 referrals, which is how the $75 comes into play. So that's just a little bit of something that we can give back to those folks who have already attended and alumni of the school. The other exciting news, Phineas, I'm going to let you share this one because this is something that you're going to be a part of on and off. So go ahead.
Well, starting tonight at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday Night Live Productions on this very StreamYard platform that we're using here right now. Sean White will be starting the Claus Connect. We kicked it off on April 10th. And on that evening, Sean announced that she will be doing a regular program on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, as part of this Tuesday Night Live Network Productions home studio, produced by Angela Mack. And Sean will be continuing on with her Claus Connect, and she will have various guests throughout the season. And I'm looking forward to seeing what big things she's got brewing, because it's kind of exciting.
It is. She just felt that she needed to go on to this style of platform instead of the Zoom platform, and so it was easiest for her just to jump on board and use what was already there through TNL. And we're excited to have it come into Monday. It's going to be a great addition to Monday night. I used to say a lot for the Tuesday show. What else are you going to do on a Tuesday night? Well, it's kind of the same way with Monday night. You play hard on the weekends. You go to Monday mornings if you still work, or if not, Mondays are always that day when everybody, probably one of the least favorite days of the week for most folks. So this will give you a little bit of something bright to have to look forward to in the evening with Sean, and bright and white. I like that. So very good.
And we've got Sean is watching us, as is Betsy Madzieski is watching us as well. AJ is here watching us. So hi, AJ. Good to see you. Kane Smith is here watching us as well, too. So good to see everybody's logged in to watch.
Yeah, Kane's asking AJ how WrestleMania was. Yeah, we'd be interested in knowing how that was, AJ. Throw that at us if you can. All right, now I do have another programming note here for Santa Ana Holiday University. The May 1st through 3rd, Schaumburg, Illinois, Chicago date has been postponed.
Ooh, okay.
It will be rescheduled for later here in 2025, and that is to be announced. They run into a small problem, and so they're going to alleviate that problem, hopefully, and get this back on schedule. And we will let you know as soon as we hear what the new date will be. As I said, though, to be announced.
Okay. And Santa Ana Holiday University, May 14th to 16th, 2025 in Medina, Ohio, which is close to Cleveland. That is still happening. And if you feel in the mood of visiting the Cleveland area, as well as Castle Noel, which is also going to be having at the end of that weekend, we'll be having a special Christmas performer day. So go to Santa Ana Holiday University with Deanna Golden and Judith Broderick, and then enjoy visiting Castle Noel in Medina, Ohio.
And Ohio is alive and well. On board there to go forward and looking good. So to School of Santa's, Branson, Missouri, July 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. A few seats left. Spago has stretched it. I don't know how he figures out how to get any more people in there than he already has in the past couple of years, but he's looking at around 120, and he's upwards to filling that up. So if you happen to at the last minute decide you want to go, reach out to Branson Ticket and Tanya over at Branson Ticket and Travel, and get your name in there for that last few seats that are left there. All right, now another programming note. I know this is kind of disappointing for some. It's exciting for our family. The McMasters and Cortez family is going out tomorrow night, which means our producer, Angela Mack, myself, Carol, my wife, my son, all going out to celebrate our granddaughter, our only grand tomorrow Normally we try to schedule around our shows and do it on a weekend or so, but the only way we could get everyone together was tomorrow night. So there will be no Tuesday night live show tomorrow night. Every once in a while you got to have a day off, and tomorrow will be that for TNL. We appreciate it and hope everybody comes back the next week to catch up. But we got plenty of other shows on the platform this week, including Sean's tonight and, of course, the Kringle Brothers on Wednesday and so forth and so on. But at this point, we want to see about Digging Deeper with Phineas. You ready?
Hello, everybody. Phineas the Elf here, along with our dear friend the Yeti, who we've been exploring with the past couple of the past month or so with. And Yeti, you took a day off last week because you were getting kind of excited with all the attention. Did you get a good rest? Good. Glad to hear. I know the attention can be a lot when you're not used to it. So I'm glad that you're feeling better and have gotten a good rest. So that's good to hear. So good. Glad to hear. So anyways, we've been creating this character together collaboratively, and I've been asking folks to chip in with their ideas after going through research I've done with respect to Yetis. So I talked about initially, how did the Yeti get up to the North Pole? Because we need to understand where a creature from the Himalayan mountains came from and why we're up at the North Pole. I then took a look at the traditional folklore of the various cultures that have Yetis or abominable snowmen or snow creatures, what type of folklore existed. I then looked at Yetis in popular culture. So I was looking at the movies, the books, the TV shows that the Yetis were found in, ranging everything from the abominable snowman in 1957 to recent movies as recently as 2019, including famous stuff like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Monsters.
Come on, have water.
Oh,
I'm
you
sorry.
wasn't muted. You interrupted.
Last week, Yeti took a week off, and so now we're looking at what we now know about our Yeti. So we now know that Yeti was blown up to the North Pole in a storm, and Yeti was found by me after the storm subsided, and I brought the Yeti back to make sure that they were safe and healthy and felt good. Now, we know that the Yeti has a single tooth, a fang, and when the Yeti begins talking, he talks with a little bit of a lisp and a whistle kind of lisp, which is a traditional sound associated with Yetis. They have a whistling, hissing sound when they make noises. So that goes quite well with the fang. So part of the character is the Yeti will definitely have a lisp and probably talk like with a bit of a lisp because of the storm situation. And this was something brought up by Bob. Because of the storm situation, the Yeti, moving it from the Himalayas up to the mountains, up to the North Pole, the Yeti is afraid of storms and will be watching the weather closely, but also wants to stay inside during storms where things will be warm and safe. Oh, that's good to hear. So maybe the Yeti will spend time with Mrs. Claus, helping out in the kitchen. Who knows? With the elves in the kitchen, who knows? We also know that Yetis traditionally have a very family, community-based society. And after Phineas tried to take them down to the Himalayas, we were unable to find their family, and that was a very sad moment for the Yeti. But it was agreed after much discussion with Mr. and Mrs. Claus that the Yeti could stay at the North Pole as long as they felt comfortable up there, where they would be mostly safe from the storms, because we will keep the Yeti safe in our area in Christmas Valley. The Yeti also finds that the large family aspect, including Mr. and Mrs. Claus, the elves, the reindeer, and the other critters and cryptids that lives up at the North Pole is very comfortable and safe. And wouldn't you know that, grumpy old Phineas, who has always been a fish out of water, being a 5'8", 275-pound elf, finds that the Yeti is also a fish out of water like him. So I find that our relationship is kind of relatable, and I feel kind of like a protective, almost like a big brother towards the Yeti. So that is something that we're doing, because the Yeti has been pretty, taking pretty nervous about going out on its own, doesn't like the storm. So we're going to keep it safe up here at North Pole. We still don't know if the Yetis are a boy or a girl, but we know it's a Yeti. We know, and we're beginning to understand that the Yeti's last name, because several names resulting from the Yeti study, the last name is Admi, Admi, and we've got a Fang. So one of the first names of the Yeti was Kang Admi, snowman. So we've got a Fang man. So we've got Fang Admi. So I think, is Fang good? You like Fang? Yeah, you like Fang. Okay, so we now have a name for the Yeti, and the Yeti's name is Fang Admi. So hopefully we will know that that the Yeti is now safe at the North Pole, and we're beginning to build the character. You're still pretty quiet. You're kind of nervous about talking, and you're learning all the languages up at the North Pole. So we're doing quite well, learning and understanding who the Yeti is becoming to be, and how they are at. Kevin Scarf noted that maybe the Yeti could become the North Pole meteorologist, and that is something that both Kevin and Bob have brought up as well. That because of the need to watch the weather and be safe and feel safe, that maybe you can become the meteorologist, and maybe you can also help at just before the Christmas flight to make sure that everything is safe, and make sure that we have Rudolph primed if it's a foggy, rainy evening. So that's a big responsibility. You good with that? Okay, we'll talk later. So we're now beginning to see the character come out. We're now beginning to see that the Yeti is really comfortable and feels sort of like a family type kinship at the North Pole. We've discussed with Santa and Mrs. Claus whether or not it would be feasible for an abominable snowman or Yeti to stay up at the North Pole. And we all agree that for their safety and comfort, we will keep it up at the North Pole for a little while, as long as it wants to stay and feels happy and healthy there. Those of you who saw the visit that Santa, Phineas, and Mrs. Claus Vintage had with the Tooth Fairy up at North Pole Cornerstones, that Phineas is also currently working with a baby Yeti who's a lot smaller than this one. And so hopefully they will eventually become friends and perhaps even a family. So we shall see what happens. But so we're beginning to explore what this Yeti is going to be doing if it stays at the North Pole. And are you excited? So we're getting pretty good at that. So we're very happy. So you can see the character being built. You can see, Fang's character growing and developing a bit of a personality. And maybe at some point Fang will begin speaking, and we got to get over, it's okay to talk with a lisp. It's people have different things, and you've only got the one tooth left. So it's all good. It's all good. We won't make fun of you, and we will take care of you and make sure that you are supported and cared for and loved. Are you good with that? Okay, good. Thank you very much. And once more, anybody who's watching, please provide your suggestions, continue to engage. I've been taking it all down. I've been writing your suggestions down. We had Ken Kringle giving us some ideas. Ken, yes, Yeti eating spaghetti is kind of funny, but it's kind of difficult to eat spaghetti with one tooth, especially when it's a sharp, pointy tooth. You need something to bite into. And plus, you don't like getting the sauce in your fur, do you? Well, maybe we can make you some spaghetti Alfredo. Who knows? But definitely, thank you very much, Kevin, for chiming in today, and looking forward to further comments from people. Message me at Mike Hutchings on Facebook, or also email me at mike.hutchings@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good day.
So I want to apologize. I didn't mean to blurt in the middle of your presentation. Angela had me muted. We were talking about the trivia question, and she unmuted me, and I didn't realize it. So my apologies.
Well, we do have a winner, I guess, so that's good because it was a toughie. It was a toughie.
It was a toughie, and the winner, of course, here has more information than what I asked for, and I started to go with the whole thing that he's put down there, but that would have meant 3 different dates, and I didn't want to get it too hard, so we stuck with the 2. But let's go ahead and jump into that real quick, I guess, since we're talking about it.
Okay, so what date, month, day, year did Ford Motor Products introduce the new class of hardtop and convertible versions of the blank? Which dealership got serial number 1 to sell? What was their full location? And what was the month, day, year that said dealership sold that first model? And from what it looks like a fellow Canadian answered that question.
He sure did. Sure did. And virtually a neighbor of yours that you would have to throw the rock over to hit Newfoundland.
Definitely would definitely have to throw the rock over because he's just a little bit further east of me. So yep.
Absolutely. So again, that was April 17th, 1964 when it was introduced. Now it was actually the 14th was another date that Paul put down there, which was correct, but we just wanted the introduction date. And it was introduced at the car show is the reason we went with that particular date because we figured it would be easier to find. Again, it was the Mustang. And George Parsons Ford dealership in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada was the one who received it, and it was sold on April 14th, 1964. Boy, don't you wish you had that. That thing's got to be worth a ton of money. If it's still on the road or if it's still, I'm sure it's collected somewhere. Somebody's got it stored away. It's not out there.
I hope it's collected somewhere. You know, you never know because Newfoundland is it's an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and it gets some pretty rough weather, and it would all be salt water and salt air. So I can imagine there'd be some corrosion.
And for those who do a lot of YouTube or have watched Discovery Channel at times, there's quite a bit of car enthusiasts in the Newfoundland area.
Yep.
One of those being Chad Hiltz, Bad Chad, and he has quite the collection that he has put together. A lot of those were his TV car shows that he built for the Discovery Channel and was either part of the contract. He kept that. It was only sponsored for a promotional value, and he kept the automobile after it was built, or it was given away to the company, and he has went back since and bought it from that company to put it in his collection. But that's one he don't have is the number 1 Mustang. So I'm sure if he could find it, he'd probably grab it up too. But again, if you catch his show on YouTube, he goes out in that portion of eastern Canada and the Newfoundland area looking for cars, barn finds, and then puts his custom spin on it. A good show if you like to watch that kind of thing. And so again, that area is rich with enthusiasts who collect and custom build. So fantastic. Now then, Angela says that in my announcement about tomorrow night's show, I froze up. So I don't know how many of you actually got that message or not. I'll repeat it though. Tuesday Night Live will be off tomorrow night. There will not be a live show tomorrow night. It is our granddaughter's birthday, and we tried to schedule around it, but the only time we could get the family together was tomorrow night. So no show tomorrow night. We'll see you back next Tuesday. But like I said, we do have plenty of other shows to keep you pumped and primed for the week. So including Sean's show starting tonight. So, all right.
Well, I don't think we actually announced who the winner was, and the winner is Paul Anderson of Beamsville, Ontario. So congratulations, Santa Paul. So,
boy, I dropped the ball on that one, didn't I? I said Paul, but I don't guess I ever said Anderson.
Yeah. So
now, congratulations going out to you, Paul. Remember, I don't know if you heard or not, but we'll need your T-shirt size for your part of your win, and your name will go on the hat for the drawing for TNL 2026. Okay, so we just mentioned the Claus Connect moves over to Monday starting tonight, 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. You want to catch Sean White. on the TNL network platform, StreamYard, right here, and that will be produced by Angela Mack tonight. And we just mentioned tomorrow night, no show, taking off, and we'll be back next week for TNL. And if you'll pick it up from there, Phineas.
So on Wednesday this week, we will have Kringle Time with the Kringle Brothers on their Facebook channel. I think they're going to be doing something on storytelling this week, so
Yes,
that's what they're going to be doing. And on Thursday the 24th, starting at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, will be Santa's Magical Fellowship Group, the general chat with Santa Mel. And then following that will be polar opposites with Santa Jamie and Santa J Max. So
that's right. And I'm going to run over here real quick and pick up a message that I got from Mel. Let's see. I believe she says polar opposites won't be on this Thursday coming.
okay.
It'll be Derek Dugan double feature, then polar opposites the following. That's what she's told me. So okay, so we'll scratch that and we'll go with this. So it looks like Derek Dugan will be on Mel's this week and not polar opposites. So
it'll be Derek Dugan. He has some wonderful ideas about being a Santa and being a Christmas performer, as well as wonderful graphic design crews. So
yep. So with Sean leaving the Thursday night and going to Mondays, that left an opening there, and Mel's scrambling to fill that spot or do something there. So very good. All right. Any other notes that I can see here? Santa Claus, thank you, sir. Saying happy birthday celebrations to Jada.
Kane Smith wished your granddaughter a very happy birthday as well. And AJ was commenting that he was not happy with Cena.
Yeah, talking about the WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, yep. So he and Kane are having a conversation about WrestleMania in the chat.
I see that.
Yeah. So
okay, well, hey, you're getting the bad weather today. We're supposed to have rain the rest of this week, I believe, starting again tomorrow. So just mount that out. So I don't know how much work we'll get done outside, but there's always projects to be done. So
I was going to say there's always projects to be done inside. So yeah, it's been raining outside here, but there's the never-ending stream of projects here inside the house and inside the office here. So
it's part of being a homeowner. I'll tell you, it never ends.
Indeed.
We had air conditioning issues over the weekend. And I often wonder why, when it comes to those type of things, happen on the weekend and on holiday weekends because that's when repairmen like to charge you double time and triple time. Luckily, it hasn't been real hot here, so we was able to survive for a couple of days, and actually was able to figure out what was wrong with it, order the part, get it in 2 days, and I took a little time yesterday afternoon to repair and get our air conditioning back up and running because, man, down here in the South, you can't do without it. It's
Nope.
a must. And I mentioned this to Randy last year, I think it was, we were talking. How did the pioneers do it? How did they travel for months on end in covered wagon, walking across the United States and spread out to Canada and all points east and west and south in the heat and the cold and survive? They were tough hombres.
They were tough. And they learned how to survive.
They did. They sure
Definitely.
did. Carl, Carl's got a good point there. Well, Santa can be more expensive on the weekends too. You're so right, my friend. So right. But it does. It seems like when things go wrong with things mechanical at home, hot water heaters, or or different things. Even sometimes your vehicles. It always happens at the most inappropriate time.
Yes, indeed.
Ken says pioneers didn't have Xbox.
And he also said if you wanted to stay busy, start an orchard. So
Yeah, exactly.
yep.
All right, guys, we want to thank everyone for jumping in with us today. It's been fun as always. Phineas, thank you so much, my friend. Great show, and we hope you have a blessed week. Come back and see us next Monday. Remember, no show tomorrow night. Sean White tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. And matter of fact, Sean, if you're still on, Angela and I need to holler at you so we can get ready for tonight, and we'll be reaching out to you. So thanks, everyone. It's been fun. It's been real, and we will see you next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Angela, for producing. Thank you, Bob, for being a wonderful co-host. Wishing everybody a happy birthday and a joyous celebration of your granddaughter tomorrow, and
you so
hoping
much.
you have a time of fellowship and love with your family. That is wonderful.
Thank you. Much greatly appreciated. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.